Action!
Underdogs is a cultural platform based in Lisbon that encompasses a gallery with 2 exhibition areas, a public art program, the production of artist editions, and the development of commissioned art projects. Established in 2010, Underdogs works with a diversified roster of Portuguese and international artists connected with the urban-inspired contemporary art universe, fostering the development of close relationships between creators, the public, and the city. Hosting several solo and group exhibitions throughout the year, the gallery's mission consists in creating opportunities for Portuguese and international artists, both established and upcoming talents, to develop work in Lisbon, in the city, with the city, and for the city, with a global reach.
Hello Suzanne, thanks for having us here. We're here at Underdogs Gallery in Lisbon and you're the general manager.
Yes, that's correct.
So you're basically like an agency with a gallery or how?
We are a cultural platform.
Okay.
And we collaborate with a lot of artists, and we have like these different activity like areas that we work. We have the gallery, and then we have the editions area. This is something we've been doing, like we've been developing a lot. And then we have public art program in the city, where we normally try to have like this link. Every time an artist is invited to come to the gallery and to exhibit here, we also invite him to produce with us, to leave something in the city, in Lisbon particularly, like a wall, or sometimes it's more a sculpture or another type of installation. You also went to see, for example, with Ed Fuel, that it's the Portuguese artist we have here. He made a wall not a long time ago, and now we are leaving like a tile panel in the city.
So you're dealing a lot with the city officials, or is it like owners of private houses? Who gives you the space?
No, so actually it can be both, but normally it's with the city hall, so with public authorities. In Portugal, not only in Portugal, but different countries and different cities, the public authorities were very involved in giving us a proper and formal space for the urban art expressions. And this is the case of Lisbon.
That's amazing and good for you. For example, my hometown, Hamburg, something like this doesn't really exist. So, of course, there exist certain programs, but in a way that you could say that the city officials are really interested in cooperating with any gallery. We don't have that. So I really have to appreciate it, and yeah, somehow the Portuguese people seem to be more open-minded to these cultural things.
I think it was like, it makes part also of the history also of this movement. So this, like, it's something that we are assisting in the past 20 years. It's really something of this century, because everything started with the graffiti, with the illegal graffiti a lot also in the 19th. And so, like particularly Lisbon was full of tags and graffitis and so on. So I think there was like a collective thought of how we are going to deal with this. So with different agents, different actors, artists, public authorities, private associations like ours and others. And so then it started progressively. So this is why we have this case. In the beginning, like the City Hall did this to try to avoid to have illegal graffiti in the city. So it's like we are going to give a space where the artist, these young artists, can come, can experiment, and can do their art. And progressively, this started to grow, and now it's what we see. You have like with us, we did 45 public interventions, but the City Hall did others with other artists. And there is like a quiet code, so everyone perceives them as artworks.
Okay.
So other artists, like street artists or graffitiers or writers, are not going to do something like on top of it. Of course, they leave what they need to leave. We don't control that.
Yes. But that's very nice, because I know that there is other cities, if they have like a problem with illegal graffiti, then they don't seek cooperation. They just want to paint everything gray. This is what happens quite often in Northern Europe.
And here also what it was interesting, because when we have this way of work, we open also the public space not only to artists that are related to the street art, but also other artists that are related with illustration, with design, and with other artistic disciplines. We can invite them to work like in the public space in a large scale, and this we try to do a lot. So this is why we say we work a lot in this cultural movement, and we work with artists that are inspired by the cities, by some signs of the city, some symbols, and some of them are related to the street art, but not all of them.
So you don't draw a circle and you say either you're in or you're out. So basically you're open.
Yeah, we are open, and it's a dialogue.
Okay.
It's like, for instance, at Fuel that you are seeing here, he studied like fine arts and so on, and actually he was already related to the street art. For example, he's a very good example how we can work in the public space without being with sprays.
Okay.
But when he do walls, he do with sprays, for example. But we have other artists that it's with paint, and they are like, they don't come from the graffitis.
And how's like your curational process? Because I can imagine that some artists will be watching and then they will ask, how can I get into contact, and what does an artist have to bring that he or her can work with you?
With the Portuguese artists, it was a little bit by invitation, like artists that Alexandre and Pauline, they were interested in the work,
okay,
and we wanted to give them like a space to grow with us. So we have like a group of Portuguese artists that we've been working year by year, and they work with us since the beginning.
Yes.
And then in terms of international artists, the logic is a little bit different. So what we want with international artists, we try as much as we can to bring artists that already have like a more consistent career.
Okay.
Because they never been to Portugal. So it's a way to have them here and
yes,
to show their work in Portugal, and to create like dialogues, like they can like have like a synergy with other like Portuguese art, emergent artists, and that we can create these bridges. So for example, last year we brought John Juan, American artist that's living in France, but we also brought Swoon, American artist, also to Portugal.
And didn't you have a show with Nifties lately?
Yes, we had also. This is something we tried also. Since NFTs, it's quite a current, like an actual discussion. So we created a project that it's called Ephemeral Eternal.
Yes.
And what we wanted to do, it's an exhibition of NFTs, but divided in different drops. So during 1 month, we have a drop every week with 10 artists. So in total, we're 40 artists. All the works were like new works. So
yes,
we invited the artists to make digital works for this purpose. And it went very well, so it just finished, and it was our first experience. Now we are still discussing what we will do from here, but it was an approach, yes.
Okay. And I don't want to sound rude, because I've already thought about buying an NFT, but I didn't really find a way to live with it. What happens if I buy an NFT that's expensive and it's good? Will I keep it on my smartphone? What should I do with it?
So actually, when you buy an NFT, you buy a token. You
Yes.
buy a code that it's in a chain.
Yes.
So this is what you have at the end, this
Yes.
certificate.
Yeah.
You don't have a file, really a file like that you download, and you don't have normally a physical artwork either. So what you have this code, and you own this code. And this code, this NFT, it's the artwork itself. Of course, these have many forms nowadays, so some artists are, along with the code, with the NFT, they are selling the artwork, the physical
Yes.
artwork, so there are many ways nowadays of doing.
But I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought before it was like the JPEG, and now basically looks alike, but the difference is the JPEG you can multiply as many times as you want, which you still can do with the JPEG of the NFT, but the NFT is the certificate of ownership when you want to sell the rights of, yeah.
It also protects the artists actually, because the artists receive royalties from the. So normally in this contract, the artists establish the rules.
Yes.
So for example, he says, okay, every time there is this person that bought the NFT for the first time, and every time he resells the NFT, I'm going to receive 10%, 5%, whatever they decide of royalties, because in the end they are still the owners, the intellectual owners and the creative owners of the artwork. So now the debate, the discussion, it's really around the certificates and how it can contribute for the authorship.
Yes. I mean, this is the first time I've heard that you can like imply such a share, which I think is very interesting, because as we know from the past, there had been artists that were selling something for 2,000 and a couple of years later it was sold for 2 million and they didn't get any of it, and this is sometimes a bit not so funny for them, and now they can control it in a better way.
But it's more than JPEG, so it can be like, sometimes it's images, it's true, but sometimes it's films, animations, so...
But my question was also a bit different, because when I was thinking about about buying the NFT, which I didn't because it was an auction and I was coming to my end, and somebody paid a bit more, and then I thought if I get it, I would have to buy a display and I would show it like in a loop. This was my idea. Can you relate to that?
No, there are people that are doing that, but again, it's still something very new. So I think everyone is still like trying to figure out how. There is not like a rule. It's very new. So for example, there are now like exhibitions about NFTs. So we had like someone that showed us that the person wanted to display in a screen, so it's still like I think it's still very open, like the possibilities.
Perfect, nice words. Okay, I really have to thank you. This was one of the best interviews we have had so far. It was really interesting and I could relate to everything, and I wish you a nice future. As I see, this exhibition is most likely sold out, so congratulations as well, and I hope that you would be having us when we return to Lisbon next time, and if you ever come to Germany, be my guest.
Yes, also, so feel free, you are welcome, so next time you come, should pass by, and everyone, like in Lisbon, when everyone comes to Lisbon, you are welcome to pass by.
You gave us a good feeling, thank you.
Thank you.